Welcome to Sportex Sponsorship. And I'm joined by Richard Poulton, National Brand Manager for Rush Extreme Sports, to talk to us about their recently announced sponsorship deal with Gymnastics South Africa. Let's start off by describing what is the primary goals of the sponsorship deal between Rush Extreme Sports and Gymnastics South Africa. Welcome, Richard.
Thanks, Garrett. Thanks for having me, man. Yeah, that's a great question. So obviously, the two brands, as it were, are so very aligned. Gymnastics is gymnastics, and that's existed for a long time. And trampoline parks and Rush are fairly new to the whole country and as an industry, but the synergy is very important. I think the gymnastics world is quite set aside independently, but I think the commercializing of trampoline parks has helped that. There's more access to it. So the goals that we partner with GSA, Gymnastics South Africa, is just exactly that, man, is to open up the doors to more people, to the gymnastics world, and share our networks. Gymnastics South Africa has got a vast network of people, and so does Rush. We've been in business for 9 years, so we've got a great network, and we've got lots of brand partners that are very helpful. So our goals is just to uplift gymnastics as a whole, and especially focusing on some grassroots talents. In the past, we have identified a few young stars and, asked them to be ambassadors of Rush and kind of guide them and uplift them as they go. So I suppose in a nutshell, that's the biggest goal, is just to uplift gymnastics as a whole and, nurture some young talent.
Okay, great. So what is it that Rush Extreme Sport do, and what was then the purpose for what you do to align yourself in partnership with Gymnastics South Africa?
So what do you mean here? What do we do generally, or?
Yep.
So, if you guys don't know, Rush is, we actually rebranded to Rush Extreme Sports. So it is a trampoline park essentially, but obviously we've incorporated some more elements like climbing walls. There's a slack line, some Ninja Warrior stuff. So there's quite a broad range of activities to do, but our core focus is always going to be trampolining. And, that's it's why the alignment is so good with gymnastics, is because we've got very long tumbling tracks, we've got foam pits and airbags, and we've got a lot of staff that are very qualified to manage these sort of people. And we've even got a handful of gymnastics qualified team members. So yeah, we're very, very fortunate and got a good thing going at the moment.
Yeah, that brings me to the next question. How will this partnership directly benefit gymnasts, especially those that are participating in the trampoline and tumbling disciplines?
Yeah, that's a great question. And just to also add to that, we've also one of the code sponsors for parkour. So that's an interesting one too, because parkour's recently been added to gymnastics, and there's a bit of a conflict between like the purists and gymnastics. So the parkour guys are a bit more edgy and street-like, and then Gymnastics South Africa, or Gymnastics, said, let's formalize this, get some clubs going, and there's a bit of a conflict. But I think to answer your question, Rush will be like a good connection between all of those links, especially the parkour guys. We do a lot of work with sort of independent parkour clubs around the country, and there's actually a few ambassadors we have that are flying down from Joburg to participate in gym games coming up in the next week. So that's really good. And for the tumbling and trampoline guys, it's pretty, what we do is exactly that. As I say, we've got some of the world-class trampolines. We've got performance trampolines. We've got a super trampoline, tumbling tracks, as well as foam pits and things like that, which allows the athletes to train in a very safe and controlled environment. Besides that, we've got very, very strict safety measures in place. Our safeguarding policies are very tight, and as a very basic requirements, everybody needs to have at least level 1 first aid. There's lots and lots of training that goes on. So there's a lot of safety and goodness that goes on in it.
Yeah, thanks. So given Rush Extreme's focus on grassroots developments as part of this partnership with Gymnastics South Africa. How do you see this partnership then contributes and evolves to aid with the growth of gymnastics at youth level?
Yes. So, it's an interesting question because there's a lot of kids that are very keen on gymnastics as a whole, but I think a lot of them are a little bit intimidated about, they might go to their parents and say, I want to do gymnastics. What's the next step traditionally? Well, you join a club, right? But that
Yeah.
can be quite intimidating because then it's all of a sudden it's like leotards and it's a big thing, right? So I think for us, the goal is, obviously we see hundreds and hundreds of people every week come and jump, which is the very starting points of someone getting interested in gymnastics. They can, at Rush, they get to figure out their own abilities and learn some flips and stuff. And we hope that will be a good segue to allow young people to come to our facility that's very fun and relaxed, and our staff are friendly and kind and helpful. And we can, it's happened a lot where we've identified someone that's just come for a 1 hour jump for fun with their mom or dad, but we'll end up speaking to the parent and say, guys, we can see your child is very talented. Let's focus a bit on this. And, we also offer some one-on-one coaching and things like that. So I think allowing a fun and safe environment as the door to the world of gymnastics is a very good segue to something bigger. If someone starts at Rush, spends a bit of time there developing their skills, and then thinks, okay, I'm ready to take this further, cool. Then we can put you in touch with Gymnastics South Africa, find the best club, best coaches, and hopefully build some champions like that.
Yeah. Now, great. Which brings me to the next question. Other than what Rush are already doing in terms of their own outreach, are there any programs under this partnership with Gymnastics South Africa in terms of social responsibility initiatives that is planned for?
Yeah. So we actually are busy planning a big project with. There's a community we work with in Khayelitsha, and one of the guys that's part of the jump rope part of the gymnastics world, he works at Rush. His name's Masi. He's very talented and a very, very good guy. He's started an NGO called Jump It. So he coaches the kids skip rope and things like that. Now, there's a lot of boys and girls that do skip roping because, that kind of makes sense. But the plan with what we're going to work with them in the next couple of weeks is that we're going to introduce about 5 or 6 young girls to the world of gymnastics and parkour. The reason we're doing that is because we just feel like it's not happening a lot in those communities, where it's a bit taboo to say to a girl, learn to backflip, or, learn to do this, where skipping is fine, but backflips, that's a no-go. So we just feel like we're going to introduce them. We've got some really good mentors and coaches on board to help us with this, as well as our own coaches. And we just want to sort of change the narrative a bit in those communities to say, it doesn't matter if you're a boy or a girl. This world is it's open to everyone. We've seen recently at the Olympics, Simone Biles is a good example, one of the greatest of all times. And imagine if she lived in a community where it was sort of frowned upon, we would never have such excellence, to watch. So that's a big project we're busy working with. We're going to document that and upload it to our YouTube channels and social media. And yeah, we're excited about that one. It should be very cool.
Yeah, great. And lastly, how do you see this partnership with Gymnastics South Africa evolving in the future, actually beyond the Gym Games 2024? Are there any plans for future collaboration between the two?
Absolutely. So, for both Rush and Gymnastics South Africa, this is quite a new project, commercial partnership and things like that. So Gym Games is obviously the first thing we're working on, and we're working closely with their marketing team and our marketing team just to establish some good things. But this is we've signed a 1-year agreement already, which means we've got at least a year ahead of us that's of partnership, and definitely we're definitely going to continue that into the future because, as I mentioned, it's such a good synergy of people that attend both places, and we just want to be a nice middle ground for everyone.
Yeah, great. Thanks. That was Richard Polton, National Brand Manager for Rush Extreme Sports. Thank you for your time, which is very much appreciated. That
Thank
is
you,
where we
Jared.
would leave for now. And thank you for watching the Sportex Sponsorship channel, which is hosted on TalkX TV. Until next time.